Beginning of the walk, our third day on the SWCP, and we're at Branscombe Mouth, and it's breezy but stunning. Emma boots with Andy and me as we aim to leave behind the Triassic rocks behind us to be done another day, and we're going to be heading east again. Well down into the Hooken landslip complex, and there's towering cliffs of the chalk, I think the lower chalk. We've just seen a boulder at the path side full of green sand which sits beneath the chalk, and this huge area we're walking through now, mainly woodland, is very jumbled, higgledy-piggledy to walk over, and this is the old landslip area of Hooken. And the weather is splendid at the moment, windy, but here very sheltered. Andy and Emma have left me behind to avoid the geological lecture. 230 years ago, this view would have been very different. Yes, I'd have been stood on chalk downland, grazed by sheep. But in a couple of years between 1788 and 1790, the groundwater pressure built up hugely in the chalk, so much so that its gentle tilt led it to fail. It's literally slid down on top of the underlying clay, splashed into the sea, probably caused a tidal wave, and extended the coast here by about 200 metres. And the land on which I would have been stood is now 250 feet below me. A spectacular landslip. Well, we descended from the pinnacles and Minehead down into Beer itself, met up with some old friends, walked with them a while into Seatown, and then left them behind as we strode towards Axmouth and the bridge across the River Axe. Beer roads, the beach is a delight. Up and over we went to Seatown, or Seaton, Devon, and I was delighted to come across some beach huts. What a thrill that was. I'm very disappointed one of these is not called Jabba. And in good time we made it to Axmouth and its concrete bridge, which is rather unusual. We faced a stiff climb ahead, but little did we know at this stage what delights were in store for us in the Axmouth to Lyme Regis undercliff. Glorious Devon, South Devon. Just walking up one of the fairways on the Axe Cliff golf course just outside Seaton. As an ex-golfer, walking on a fairway is not something I'm that familiar with, because I was usually off the bloody thing. But you've got to be stout of heart and strong of limb to play golf here, because it looks a nightmare uphill, downhill links, clifftop links. The southwest coast path cuts across it rather majestically. No golfers around at the moment, but it's probably a bit like getting whacked in The Sopranos. You don't hear it when it happens. So hopefully there's no errant golf balls about to wallop me. We're heading towards the lovely coastal town of Lyme Regis. More about that, much more about that, a lot later. Well, we've just reached the Axmouth Lyme Regis undercliff, a World Heritage Site, National Nature Reserve, you name it, this location has been designated it. On a glorious May day, our third ever walk in the SWCP, and it is completely glorious. The woodlands, temperate deciduous woodland, lovely bird song, and you can just see on the left hand side of the view some pretty steep chalk cliffs. I think they're chalk, but I'm sure they're chalk. Underneath this are the sands and clays of the Cretaceous, the lower Cretaceous geological period, and beneath that the Jurassic rocks. And the whole lot, everything you're looking at now from those white cliffs, has slumped and fallen away towards the sea. It did this spectacularly in 1839, and it's the Bindon landslip. The Bindon landslip was the first major mass movement feature to ever be written up in a geological journal, and it has its place immortalised in history for that. And our understandings of how slopes fail around the coasts started off with the accurate mapping, measurement, cross-sectional drawings, an understanding of the different role that the various rocks played in the formation of this beautiful part of the Devon coast. The borders, in fact, of South Devon and Dorset are going to be crossed today. So that'll be a little milestone in our SWCP adventure. The first county line we would have...
After that wonderful diatribe by Mr. Bennett, also known as Teach, I'd like to add a few words. It's bleeding lovely. End of.
Yeah, so we have seen the marbled white butterfly, we think. Well, we've seen a butterfly, and we've seen a bluish flower, so that could be the chalk milkwort. And we're on Goat Island, where the land or the earth slipped away. Well, we're well into the undercliffs now, and just around us, lovely ground flowers, some shrubs, and mighty trees. We've definitely identified holly, even us two can do that. Lovely range of trees, and probably hornbeam, maybe some oak in here, bluebells, jumping jack flash, nice spray of honky-tonk women. So all rather glorious. I mean, it really is. And as opposed to being on it, we can listen to Twitter. Every bloody bird has just shut up. They're little avian bastards. Well, I can confirm for the first time we actually have a plant identification that sounds legitimate and not made up. So lovely pictures of
a granny bonnet. That's the popular name for it. I do not know its actual Latin name or its species, but it's popularly known as the granny bonnet, and we have some in our garden.
Well, probably done about a couple of miles in the undercliff, and quite a way to go yet. But what a fantastic spot this is. So we're between Axmouth and Lyme Regis, and in a pleasantly oppressive, temperate deciduous woodland that is a couple of 100 years old nearly, following the massive landslip, which is the foundation of all this area. So the ground was pretty devastated back in the day, and a lot of the vegetation around us must have grown since the 1839 landslip. Some of it's been maintained as what it originally was, which was farmland, sheep grazing land on the chalk grassland. And we saw a charming little sheep wash, where the local dugout fuller's earth was used in the cleaning up of the sheep fleece before it was sheared at market. So that was interesting seeing that. I wish I knew a little bit more about the botany than I do, but it's enough just to enjoy it, to be honest. It is glorious. It's 3 days into our SWCP mission, and sorry about that, walking fans. It's like technical walking problem there. The variety that we've experienced, one day on the North Somerset coast and now way out on the easternmost fringes of the South Devon coast, and a little bit later this afternoon we're going to be crossing a county border for the first time on this epic walk. And that'll be a little highlight worth celebrating, I hope. Anyway, Andy's whizzed on ahead. We've had a nice mid-afternoon cuppa, sat on a glorious bench overlooking Humble Point, so named after Kate Humble, the well-known nature presenter on the BBC. Impeccable pedigree with Countryfile and Spring Watch and all that sort of stuff, so enjoyed that. Well, we're loving walking through here, but bugger me, I thought we were further than halfway, although I kind of knew. So we are at You Are Here, Charlton Bay, near Humble Point. Probably about halfway, but every step we take is one less in the 630 miles. So what's a few miles between friends? But the thing is, it's very well located for local schools, and the nearest primary has an Ofsted good rating, so that's a big positive, and plenty of room for parking, up to as many cars as you like. Admittedly, the living room, kitchen, dining room, bedrooms, roof, walls, electricity, water and gas need a little bit of updating. On the market at very reasonable £450,000 or nearest offer. So, after having been warmed up earlier on about the presence of pitcher plants, I now have the opportunity to take a picture of a pitcher plant, and Andy is holding the leaf to expose the stamen.
Yeah.
And that's a stamen which probably smells of rotting flesh or something.
This will open up into a bigger bowl and have a liquid in it which digests
The flies.
the flies that are attracted to it and fall into it.
Yes, and there's another one of them there, look. So that is an absolute outbreak of pitcher plants, which I'm truly delighted to have seen, because I was very miffed earlier on that I missed them. So I wonder what the vegan view on pitcher plants is. Probably quite positive, actually, because it's all part of nature's cycle. Anyway, we're still in this undercliff area, and we will be in there for a few more days, says my walking compadre. I fear he is right. Well, we're walking now beneath magnificent sheer cliffs of chalk, pretty heavily vegetated. And this is the back wall of a huge landslip. The Bindon landslip has been mentioned already on this day's walk. Where we're stood is on the block that's dropped off there. There's a big depression between us and the cliff, which is the big crack which has opened up as the whole block of rock is rotated round. And we have this magnificent bit of woodland, chalk cliffs, natural chalk cliffs.
Basically, this piece here that we stood on is where those trees are up there.
Yes, more or less, yeah.
So this would have been connected to that, and it's all fallen away. It's
a huge subsidence around a big curved shear plane.
Yeah.
So we're closing down on SWCP 3 day 3, out of goodness knows how many, maybe around about 50, between 40 and 50. See if we can break the 52 mark, which is par. And I'm fairly confident we'll do that. We're already ahead of the game. And it truly has been a splendid day's walking from Branscombe Mouth, South Devon, to Lyme Regis, which is just tucked inside Dorset. So I reckon any time now we cross the county line. I think we actually cross it at some kind of, I imagine, drainage feature. So a little river babbling down from the left, possibly. I haven't researched this, obviously, so we shall see, but we're pretty close to it, and that's a milestone moment, isn't it? Crossing a county boundary, an imaginary line drawn by humans, telling you all sorts of things about the history of an area. Most I can tell you is that the flag of Devon is green and white, and the flag of Dorset, which is a relatively modern apparition, is red, white and gold. And I can't remember what the colours are for. Possibly the white for wool, the gold for the colour of the rocks, and the red for something else. Because this is a wow moment. The cliff coastline going east from Lyme Regis has just opened up. What a view. Looking dead ahead, Stone Barrow down. Beyond that, the mighty Golden Cap. We'll be doing that on Wednesday. That's the highest point, 191 metres. I've forgotten what that is in feet, but it's good 600-700 feet. And that is just a wow moment. Beyond that, Thorncombe Beacon. Beyond that, East Mouth. And Eep where we're staying. That really is absolutely, well, that's stunning.
So that was the end of a terrific day's walking. We rightfully finished at the Cobb. Andy and me were thrilled with our progress, and Emma picked us up and took us back to our respective accommodations in Eep. Looking forward to our next outing on the mighty Southwest Coast Path.